Half the internet says Bollywood is dying. Flop after flop, half-empty theaters, #wars. But is it actually true, or just a really good headline? Since around 2020, this has become one of the loudest debates in Indian pop culture. Bollywood is finished. Bollywood is dead. It's everywhere. But here's the problem. Almost nobody bothers to separate what's actually true from what's just a spicy hot take. So that's exactly what we're going to do. By the end, you'll know which parts are real, which parts are pure opinion, and what's genuinely going on. Start with the part everyone points at: the flops. In the early 2020s, a whole run of expensive, star-packed Hindi films marched into cinemas and bombed. We're talking enormous budgets, the biggest names in the industry, glossy marketing, and rows of empty seats. Film after film after film. And when that keeps happening, people stop seeing bad luck and start to feel like something is fundamentally broken. But here's what a lot of people miss. Bollywood is not all of Indian cinema. It's just one slice, the Hindi language industry based in Mumbai. India has several other massive film industries, especially down south: Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam. For decades, they did their own thing, in their own languages, for their own regions. But in the late 2010s, that changed completely, and they came straight for Bollywood's home audience. The film that kicked the door open was Baahubali, a Telugu epic dubbed into Hindi that didn't just visit the north, it conquered it. It pulled enormous crowds across the Hindi-speaking heartland, a market Bollywood had basically owned by default. And for the first time, the biggest, most Bollywood-sized hit in the entire country wasn't a Bollywood film at all. And Baahubali wasn't a one-off. It was the start of a wave. KGF, RRR, Pushpa, one pan-India blockbuster after another, shot in a southern language, dubbed and marketed nationwide, with bigger-feeling spectacle and a fresher energy. Audiences in the exact market Bollywood used to rule were showing up in huge numbers. Just not for Bollywood. Now stack on the second big shock: streaming. When the 2020 pandemic slammed the theaters shut, platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus Hotstar exploded across India. Almost overnight, the whole country got very, very comfortable watching whatever it wanted, from the couch, on demand, anytime. And that quietly rewrote the math of going out. Once you can watch genuinely great films and series at home, a mediocre movie just isn't worth the ticket, the travel, and the overpriced popcorn. The bar for leave the house shot way up. And just wait for it on streaming became the single scariest sentence a film studio could hear, because it really meant, don't bother going at all. Then there's the complaint about the films themselves. Critics argue Bollywood got lazy, leaning on remakes, sequels, and the same recycled formulas over and over. Grab a hit from somewhere else, repackage it, sell it again. Until eventually, audiences felt like they were paying full price, a second time, for a movie they'd basically already seen. And a lot of that traces straight back to how the money actually works. Mainstream Hindi cinema runs on a star system. A tiny handful of A-list actors are so powerful that their name alone can greenlight a film, inflate its budget, and basically guarantee a big opening weekend, sometimes regardless of whether the script underneath is any good at all. One famous satire of all this joked that there are 3 classes of actors: the stars who pick any script they like, the second choices, and everyone else fighting for scraps, and that the hero alone eats around 40% of the budget. It's exaggerated, sure, but it sits on a very real structure. The money chases proven stars and safe formulas, not fresh writing. And the whole industry gets scored like a cricket match, obsessed with opening weekends and the 100 crore club. Bubbling under all of it is the nepotism debate. The charge that star kids, the children of established film families, get the easy launches, the giant marketing pushes, and extra second chances after they flop, while genuine outsiders have to climb a much, much longer ladder. This became a national flashpoint in the late 2010s, and it absolutely exploded after the death of a popular outsider actor in 2020, turning into a full-blown insiders versus outsiders war. And that anger did not stay quiet. It spilled online into boycott Bollywood campaigns, coordinated hashtags telling people not to watch specific Hindi films. Whether or not they actually dented the box office, they got folded right into the bigger story that Bollywood is arrogant, out of touch, and completely finished. So here's the machine underneath all the noise. The money keys to star power, not scripts. Safe bets crowd out fresh, risky writing. Budgets balloon just to pay the stars. And slowly, the films all start to look and feel the same. Expensive, glossy, and somehow completely forgettable. And here's the killer timing. Right as Hindi audiences start getting bored, the South rolls in with bigger spectacle, and streaming offers them literally everything else, instantly, from the sofa. So they simply stop showing up at the theater. That feedback loop, right there. That is what the Bollywood is in crisis argument is really describing. Okay. So now for the part the angry headlines always skip. The honest accounting. Let's actually separate fact from opinion. Because the verifiable stuff is genuinely real. Yes, specific expensive films really did flop. Yes, the South's box office genuinely surged into Bollywood's territory. And yes, streaming truly did change the economics of the entire business. All of that is solid fact. But here's what is not a fact. The conclusion. The leap from "these things happened" to "therefore Bollywood is finished, dead, over." That's interpretation. That's a headline doing a job. And it conveniently forgets that this is an industry that has had brutal down cycles before, again and again, and clawed its way back every single time. Because even now, Hindi cinema still scores giant hits. Big event films still pack theaters out. The right star with the right film still draws enormous crowds. When you look at the whole picture, instead of just the worst week, what gets labeled a collapse looks far more like a competitive, post-pandemic, streaming-era correction. In other words, a transition, not a funeral. So, is Bollywood actually dying? The honest answer is more interesting than the headline. It's being forced to change, fast. It can't coast on star power and recycled formulas anymore, because for the first time in a long time, it has real competition. Dead is just the version of that story that happens to make a much better thumbnail. So the next time your feed screams Bollywood is over, you'll know exactly which parts are real, and which parts are just clickbait engineered to make you click. That's the whole game. So tell me, which Bollywood story should we decode next?